Hey, I'm Max and welcome to the Launch and Destroy game tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to make this game right here in Unity, where you can throw different balls with different power, like this one. If I click and makes it bounce, you can destroy some boxes, and when you hit the enemy, the level ends and you can go to the next level or back to the menu. In this part, we'll add the menu at the end of the level when we have no more balls or when we hit all of the enemies. To start, I'll double click on my canvas to open it up, and then I'll add a new UI panel, and I'll call it, let's say, end menu. Then I'll make it black and maybe a bit more alpha, so it's a bit more opaque. On it I will add a UI text. I'll make it a bit bigger, maybe like this. Make it best fit 80 probably, maximum size. Then I'll put it centered in both axes. Then I will add a UI button. I'll call it same menu. Then I'll put the text as best fit, change it to white, and set the sprite as the button sprite. Then I'll duplicate it, move it to the right, and this one I will call it retry or next, and I will actually leave the text empty because we'll set it in the script. So if the game ends because we don't have any balls anymore, it's going to be menu retry, and if it ends because we hit all of the enemies, then it's going to be menu and then next. In my UI script, I will add a public void show end menu, and then with a bool 1. So we can know if we want to display like the retry or next. And also, like, if we win, I'll show the score and all that stuff. But if we didn't win, then I might show, for example, the amount of enemies that was left. Then I will add a public game object end menu so I can enable it and disable it. In the start, by default, I will do set active false. So when we open the scene, by default, it will be disabled. In the show end menu, I want to do end menu that's set active true, of course. And then if we won, then I want to set the text. So I will add a parameter for the end text, and I will also add one for the end button text, which is the second button that will change from retry to next. So if we want, I want to set the end text that text equals to, let's say for now, score. And for the score, I'm thinking I'll do something like the more things that you destroy, the more score you'll get. Of course, you can do something completely different if you want. So in my case, in the UI, I'll simply add a public static int score equals to 0 by default. And in destroyable, every time we destroy something, every time it explodes, I'll do UI dot score plus equal, let's say 10. Or actually, let's do force to break. So the more we break things that are hard to break, the more score we get. And since this is a float, I'll simply cast it to int. So then in my UI, I'll do plus score. I will also add plus target hit, but I want to skip a line, so \n, and then like enemy hit or something. Then I'll do plus max targets, and I'll do end button text equals to next. Then I'll return, so I don't change it to the last, and then the last I'll simply do end text equals to enemy left, or like enemies left, I guess. And down here probably enemies too. So enemies left plus max targets minus caught targets, so the enemies that we had left to catch. And here I'll simply do a parentheses, and just to make sure that we add the right caught targets, I'll do get caught targets before. And then the end button text will be retry. Then I'll add a public void click menu. We will not do anything inside it right now because we don't have a main menu yet. And I'll also add a public void click retry next. And that's because in both cases the button is actually the same, it's just the text that changes. So for the next, we'll do it next time because we don't have more than one level yet. But for the retry, so we can do something like if end button text equals to retry. Then we want to reload the scene, so to do this we need to use Unity Engine dot scene management, and then we can simply do scene manager dot load scene, and then this one is called level 1, I think. Yep, it's called level 1 with a little L, so I'll copy it exactly the same. Now we just need to know when we want to call the show end menu. So to call the show end menu when we want, I simply want to go in the get caught targets and do if I is greater than or equal to max targets. Then I want to show end menu, and then I'll do true because we won. And in the player right here, if we have no balls left, you know what we did last time, if the current ball is done and the ball index is already at the maximum, then that means there is no more ball left. In that case, we want to do UI.show end menu and then false. So now I'll just go on my UI, drag in my text, my button text, and my end menu. Then I get a pop-up with the enemies left 1, so the color of the text is not that good. I'll change it probably to white. So let me fix the text right here, I'll set it to white. And the retry button, I actually need to add the button, drag in my UI on my main camera, and then UI, click retry next, and also do the button right here for the menu, even though it doesn't do anything yet. UI, click menu. So I actually need to ease up a little bit my map to have a chance of beating it, because right now there's just way too many things. So maybe like this. Let's see if the retry button works, and yep, it seems to work. And there you go, if I hit the enemy, it shows score 30 and enemies hit 1. One little thing that we need to fix is that our score here is static, which means that it doesn't change even if we reload the scene. So when we hit retry, our score is still saved. To fix this, I'll simply go in the start function and do score equals to 0. And the start is going to be recalled every time we retry or reload the level, so it's going to reset it. So now you can see I destroyed everything in the scene, and it showed 40 score, but then it went back to 0 enemies left. And that's because after destroying everything and hitting the last enemy, it made us win, but then my ball stopped moving, and that made us lose because I had no more balls and my ball was not moving. A simple fix for this is in the show end menu. I simply want to do time.timescale equals to 0, so this will freeze the game when I win or lose. And then in the click menu, I want to set it back to 1, and in the click retry next, I want to set it back to 1. So you can see now when I win the game freezes. Thanks for watching this part of the tutorial, hopefully you're enjoying it so far. Feel free to check out my other Unity tutorials, and subscribe if you want.